Shalom, family. This is me, Trayvon Jones, Conscious Talk Channel. Trayvon Jones, Conscious Talk Channel, where I like to talk to you, my people. Thank you for coming in and joining me. Come on in, family. Come on in. You know what today is. You know what today is. Today is a pagan holiday. Today is a pagan holiday today. And we all know what day that is. It is man-made Christmas today, y'all. Today is Christmas. And we have to know where, the origin of Christmas, where it comes from, why it exists, and what the Most High has to say about it. Because, we have been indoctrined and we have been ingrained in our enemy's culture, and we have adopted their holidays and have forgotten all about our holidays. And that was part of the trick that our enemies use to destroy us, is for us to forget all about our traditions, our holidays, things of that nature, and celebrate their holidays. And then with celebrating their holidays, totally forget about ourselves, our culture, our heritage, who we are as a people, and just be utterly and totally destroyed until we're just basically just finished. This is what our enemies have done to us, family. This is what they have done to us. And because a lot of us are waking up now, we are deconstructing what they have put out, the narrative that they have continued to try to portray. And you got a lot of us that are pushing against it, a lot of folks that look like us that push against it, and you have a lot of our enemies who push against it. I have a coworker who's a white woman. She's a Karen. She's always talking about Trump and her Republican views and things of that nature. And she basically says she wants this to become a Christian nation again, and it to go back to being Christianity, because Christianity has brainwashed us. It has taught us how to hate ourselves and to constantly be enslaved mentally, and this is part of the problem, getting out of that way of thinking, those traditions that they have conjured up for us to keep us enslaved. They got us out here buying Christmas gifts. They telling you how much money you gonna spend. They telling you they can basically predict how much money they are gonna make. They can predict how much money they're gonna get just from Christmas sales. Just the other day I was reading an article. It was a toy store, that basically, they had some white dolls that were on sale, and they had some black dolls that were on sale. The white dolls were marked down and were cheaper. The black dolls, however, were marked high. The price was marked high. And, you had some consumers who said, wait a minute, something's going on here. Something's up. How come, the black dolls are higher? Because we're getting to a state where, we want diversity. We want, toys and things like that for our children that look like us, that, we can, that resemble us. And so what our enemy decides to do in that is to charge us more money. But when we bring it to their attention, the first thing they want to do and first thing they want to say are things like, well, this is something that does not, our store, we don't put up with these type of things. This is not something that, we do this, all the regular bullshit that they always say. But the reality is they're always trying to figure out a way to take from you and to, try to basically take your money, because that's basically all we are to them, to our enemies. We are a way of making money. You know, they're always trying to conjure up and ponder up ways to be able to make money off of us, not contribute back to us, but just, make money off of us. This is the reason why, and one of the main reasons why, family, we should stop celebrating these holidays and stop adding to the society that has systematically tried to break us down. Because, family, what you have to understand, there was a time in slavery and U.S. slavery where we were given as gifts to our enslavers. We were sold to people. We were given away to people as gifts. Our children were given away. Our wives, our mothers, our sons were all given away as gifts. And we were sold to other countries, to other, plantations, all these type of things. So even when you think back to Thanksgiving and all these other traditions that we should not be following, family, when you think about those type of things, you have to go back to how it all got started in the first place. See, we just get stuck in just a tradition because we're born into it. We just follow the narrative of it. But the reality is there's always a starting point to why we're even celebrating these things in the first place. Because even with Christianity, even with Christmas, you have to understand this was a pagan thing. And even in the 1800s, there were signs that were posted saying, listen, we don't accept your pagan holidays. This is something that we don't celebrate here. We don't do Christmas because it was a pagan holiday. And those people at that time and that generation understood that that was a pagan holiday. But some kind of way it eased its way in to a tradition that just constantly is being followed. But what we see this year are Christmas trees being, caught on fire. We're seeing the Most High just basically stopping things and shutting things down, basically. And even with this virus that just will not go away, people are constantly getting sick. And this is a punishment. This is definitely a punishment because we continuously keep doing the things that we're not supposed to be doing and following traditions of man instead of following the holidays that the Most High has set out for us, the Israelites. He set it out for us. He set out holidays, but us continuously following this pagan tradition is what is continuously keeping our enemies in power. But the more we separate ourselves, because this is what we need to do at this time, we have to separate ourselves, family. Period and point blank. This is what we have to do in order for us to be able to move to the next level and for the Most High to be able to replenish this earth for us. Because honestly, the only way that we're going to be able to get out of this continued captivity that we are in, which we see is being broken, but the only way we're really going to be able to get it is when our enemies are totally destroyed. And that's just really the bottom line. And this is what we're seeing right now, the Most High sweeping them off our land. He's moving our enemies off our land. He's sweeping them off because this is a group of people who are set in their ways. See, we can have the justice system try to correct the wrong that they have been doing. See, this is why they keep foisting on us jurors that are white, Caucasian, because and they want us to think, oh, well, look, we sentenced her. We sentenced that psychotic ass maniac who just shot Dante Wright. We sentenced her. But see, they keep saying the word manslaughter, not murder. They won't use that word. They just keep saying manslaughter. See, this is the trickery that our enemies constantly use to just make themselves look a little bit better. They won't call themselves murderers, but they want to be able to say, look, we are doing the right thing, but they are not made to, punish themselves. They are always going to find themselves not guilty. That's what the Most High says about our enemies. They will always find themselves not guilty. When they do something wrong to us, when they destroy us, when they hurt us, when they do things to us, the Most High tells you that they are always, our enemies are always going to find themselves not guilty. So the little bit of punishment that they're doing now that we're seeing, you know, we can all say that's a step in the right direction, but it is never going to change. It is never going to change. Our enemies are made the way that they are, and they're never going to change. This is what we need to understand. We have to be able to understand these type of things. And this is the reason why they want us to be ingrained in their traditions and their holidays, so we can continuously be brainwashed. So we can be brainwashed and we can be psychologically changed. But we have to change that narrative and come back to who we really are. And it just reminds me of a cartoon that came out in the 90s called The Lion King. And even today, when I look at that movie, every now and again, I just like to just sit back, and just watch that movie, because it's a very powerful movie when you really think about it. And if you really think about it, Hollywood always uses biblically based themes, and when you think of just about The Lion King, and when that monkey, I can't think of the name, realized that the future king was still alive because the uncle had banished him into the forest after he murdered his father. And he banished him into the forest, and he lived a different type of lifestyle. He basically lived with a different type of group of people. He was not living in his true self. He wasn't living in, his true form, because he was a king. He was a future king, and it was in him to be a ruler. But he got out of that. He got out of that way of thinking, and he was eating unclean foods. He was eating things that he wasn't accustomed to eating, and he grew up, and he got the way of thinking of the Gentile world, so to speak. But that monkey realized that the future king was still alive, and he needed him to come back to save his people, because his people were being taken over. The uncle was just, basically just fucking everything up and allowing the other nations, the other animals to come in and, take over and destroy who we really are. And when, the future king saw a vision of himself and of his father telling him, remember who you are, remember who you are. He had to come back to the realization of who he really is. And family, that's what we have to do. We have to come back to the realization of who we are. We are royal, family. We are royal. And we have to come back to the realization of who we are. See, we know that the enemy is not stronger than us, but they use psychological warfare on us to help to destroy us. And when you go through generations of being destroyed mentally, it takes 15, 16, 17 generations just to get out of that. But we're in a new day and a new age where we have technology, where we are able to reach the masses of people, the masses of our people, and be able to talk to them and tell them who we really are. And for those who are going to listen, are going to listen. For those who it's supposed to touch, it will touch. Can't be worried about the other people that don't want to listen, don't want to hear it. You say it, you put it out there, because the Most High uses you to spread his message and spread his word. But if, your people are not willing to listen to it, you shake the dust off your feet and you keep on going. That's what we are called to do, and that's what we're supposed to do, But we are slowly but surely waking up and saying, look, we can't keep following these holidays that are not for us, because these are pagan. And even when you think about just the time of, the biblical time when we had our holidays and our feasts and things of this nature, we saw a lot of paganism taking over and taking place. And this is the reason why we wrote it down, you know, and we said, look, for our future generations, don't follow these. Don't follow the heathen. Don't follow what they're doing. Because the Most High despises your feast days. He despises it. You go into the forest to cut down a tree, and yet you deck it with silver and gold. Well, the Most High says, I don't like that. Don't follow what the heathen does. Don't do that. You know, but everybody likes to see a nice, beautiful Christmas tree all decorated. We all like to, you know, see the lights. I remember even as a child, you know, we would get in the car. You know, my aunt would come and pick us up and we all get in the car. And we used to like to drive through the neighborhood and see, you know, lights, you know, and different, you know, houses who had their lights up and, you know, and we all thought it was fun for us to be able to do that. And she'd get all the, you know, the kids, me and my brother and, you know, and my little cousins and things of that nature. And we just had a ball, you know, just driving up and down the block, seeing all the Christmas lights. You know, that was a tradition of ours and that was something that we've done. But what I'm seeing now is that tradition has faded. And what I'm seeing now is that you don't see too many Christmas lights up anymore. You don't see a lot of people buying Christmas trees and things of that nature because it's being stopped. The Most High is stopping it. He's destroying it and he's stopping it. You know, and this is what needs to be done because what he's doing is a purge and he's doing a separation right now. Because it was never meant for us to be with the other nations. Because this is how you get distorted. This is how you stop following the Most High when you start mixing in with other groups of people and start following their gods, their religions, the way they think, you know, and mixing in. And then they teach your children how to do, you know, their pagan things because it's part their children too. It wasn't meant for us to do those type of things, to mix in with other nations of people. We were to be separate from other groups of people. But you notice how they're pushing, you know, mixed races. They're pushing, you know, our black women to, you know, to get with other nations of men. You know, we're seeing, black men, you know, getting with large, populations of other, women, you know. And the reason why we're seeing these things are for a number of reasons, you know, because we have been destroyed in our communities. You know, our black men and our black women are separated from each other. And we have a hatred for one another. And I'm seeing that. I'm seeing how, a lot of black women have disdain for black men and vice versa. And, you know, it's really disheartening because you have a lot of black men who have had enough and who's fed up and say, you know what, let me just go, you know, out of the country, go get me another nationality of a woman who knows how to be more feminine, knows how to do this, knows how to do that. And let me just go ahead and just, you know, go somewhere else. And we have to stop doing that, you know, but it's going to take all of us, you know, to take our positions, you know, even though we've been brainwashed and we've been trained, you know, to be independent and we don't need each other. And, you know, the enemy has done so much to separate us from one another, you know, and to have us fighting one another. And, you know, we have to get out of that way of thinking. Because a lot of the things that we're following now were never meant for us in the first place. It was never meant for us to follow. Because this is the reason why the breakdown of our communities as so-called African American people, so-called black people are being destroyed, has been destroyed. Because we've allowed outside forces to come in and we're too busy trying to follow the way they think, how they are. And we put that on our men. We put that off on our women. And it was never meant for us to follow those type of things. Because what we should be focused on is nation building. You know, getting our numbers together, having families, having a family unit. These are the things that are important to us and should be important to us and something that we should be building. You know, not throwing people away, not just throwing our people away. But, when one of us get out of line, it takes a community of us to get that, family member back in order, you know? And if they do have to just go and we have to let them go, that's what we have to do. And that's okay too. But it's just time for us to be able to, be more of a community and to start following the traditions and stop following the traditions of man, which has gotten us to this point that we're at now. And as we see the destruction of Babylon take place, we're seeing it right in front of our faces happen right now, taking place. This is the time that we honestly really need to be focusing more on the Most High and getting right with Him and getting right with our families and our people and, doing what we need to do for our health, for ourselves. Because the Most High is speeding all of this up. He is definitely speeding all of these things up right now. The destruction is right around the corner. It's happening right in front of our faces because we have a virus that will not go away. Now, whether it's man-made, and we know it's man-made, but you have to understand the Most High uses man to do His will, to get His job done. He uses man to tell His people and whom He wants to let no information to, he tells them to do it. And it's up to you whether or not you're going to listen to it or not. But the Most High uses man to get His job done, just like He used mankind, to put us into submission, to put us into slavery, because we broke the Most High's laws, statutes, and commandments. And we keep doing it by following other nations of people and following Christmas and New Year's Eve and things of that nature. See, the Most High don't want us to do that. He wants us to separate ourselves from that, and just around the corner is New Year's Eve, so-called New Year's Eve, which is going to be in the dead of winter, family. Now, the Bible does not say when, so-called Jesus, who we know as Jesus, was born. It doesn't specifically have a date as to when He was born, but it does say that He was born in the springtime. It does make mention of His birth being in the springtime. Well, what do we know about the springtime? We know that in springtime, that's life. That's when things are been renewed. We're getting away from winter, the dead of winter, the cold of winter, where everything is dead. Life has, died and everything is being recycled. And now springtime comes and now things are growing, flowers are growing, plants are growing, babies are being born, animals are being born. It's anew. Things are being refreshed. Have you ever heard of spring cleaning? Where, out with the old, get all, you wipe them walls down, you disinfect, you clean, you get all that old dust and all that, out of your house, all the old trash, all the old negativity, you get all of that out of your house. You do some spring cleaning. That's anew. That's when, our, so-called Jesus was born in the springtime, where everything is fresh and new. We got to stop being under the delusion and under the lie that the Most High was born in the dead of winter, because psychologically that does something to us mentally, because that's a depressing time of year, y'all. It's a depressing time of year. Suicides go up, people, don't want to live, all these type of things happen around the dead of winter. But yet we're saying that this is a new year and, and Christmas. And that's just wrong. That is just wrong. And family, maybe it's time for us to just try something new. Try something different. Maybe we need to get out of the old traditions, because even when we would have church, because even when I was growing up back in the day, around this time, we would be in church. We will be in church, But what was so funny about the situation is, even when we started the tradition of church, you would have overseers, that will be in the churches just to make sure that things were being taught, how the slave master wanted it to be taught in the first place. You would have these type of things. And when you go back, like when I go back to when I was telling you about my coworker who's a Karen, says that she wants the nation to go back to Christianity. Christianity is slavery, y'all. It's slavery. And it keeps you in the mindset of slavery. And this is why your enemies want you to continuously adopt this. And what I'm seeing is people from other countries being tricked and hoodwinked with Christianity, just like we were tricked in America during slavery. And we pass it on from generation to generation to our children, our offspring, Christianity. And what I'm seeing is other nations losing who they are, their history, who they are, to adopt a slave religion. And it's so disheartening. That is disheartening when I'm seeing African people over here, promoting Christianity. But then what I'm seeing is the crookedness that's going along with it, and it's just mind boggling to me how we have been deceived for so long and tricked, and we're still continuously following in that. But a lot of us are waking up, and what I'm seeing is a lot of men are waking up, especially because you don't see a lot of men up in these churches anymore. You don't see it. And I think that's a good thing, because honestly, men don't have a place there, especially black men in the church, in the black church. Men don't have no place there. We have no place in the black church. We are run up out of there. They run us the hell up out of there. And it's sad, that was part of the tradition that was passed on to us from slavery, control. And all of this even comes down even from the Roman Catholic Church, which is a part of Christianity too. It's all the same thing. But they would take our ancestors when they were enslaving our people and when they were killing off our kings and, our leaders and things of that nature. They will put that cross in our kings, in our leaders' faces, and tell them, if you accept this Jesus, this white man, you will go to heaven. You will go to heaven. And some of our leaders would look at them and say, listen, are you going to be there? Are you going to be in that heaven that you keep talking about? Well, yeah, I'm going to be in the heaven too. I'm going to be there. Well, then I don't want to go. That Jesus you're talking about, I don't want to go. I don't want to go there. Because what you're doing is demonic and it's evil. And we don't want no part of it. But it was our enemies who wanted to just kill off our people so they can take our land and rape and rob and murder us. But again, part of how they control us is through religion, mental manipulation. And we have to have this spell broken. But part of breaking the spell is understanding who we really are and getting out of this trickery. We got to get out of this trickery. Period and point blank. And open our minds and say, listen, this slave ass religion is not working for us. We got to get the hell up out of this situation. It's not working for us. We have to get out of it, because we are expecting our enemies to change and to change who they are. It's not going to happen. And even the good ones, the ones who, are quote unquote supporting, black culture and black, they got to go. And this is what we're seeing is a cleansing right now, family, because it's time because the Most High is going to have his way. See, this is what we need to understand. We are the clay, and the Most High is the potter. And we can't continuously tell the potter you know, how to make us, how to do us. No, we have to go and we have to do what he tells us to do. Period and point blank. We have to do what he tells us to do and get out of the way and stop trying to control, and tell him what we want to do. We can't do that. We cannot do that. But that's what we've been doing. We want to dress how we want to dress. We have a dress code, family, that we are to adhere to. But see, what our enemies do is tell you, well, no, this is how we want you to dress. We want you to wear your hair this way. This is what we want you to do. We want you to shave that beard off. Black woman, we don't want you coming in with all these braids. And heaven forbids if you have dreadlocks, we don't want you to do any of those type of things. Don't wear your native hair. We want you to look like us. See, all of this was done on purpose. It was strategically done. And we have gotten out of who we are, but we have to come back to it. But it's uncomfortable because we're not used to it. So it's an uncomfortableness. And we don't know how to address it because we're so used to the Nikes. We're so used to being able to wear Fendi and wear what the enemy makes. You know what I'm saying? But no, we need to stop being worried about offending other groups of people by what we wear and how we wear our hair. We got to stop, being worried about offending other people. We got to get out of that. Because what we're seeing is a change. And we're seeing things turning around, and it's turning around rapidly. But we're going to still have to deal with the Karens. We're still going to have to deal with that. And I'm talking about male and female, but what we're seeing, because it's the female Karen who is the one causing all the problems, most of the problems. And the Most High is dealing with them. The Most High is going to be dealing with them, and we're going to see it more and more and more and more and more. Because when you go back in history and go back in time with Emmett Till, we saw that white woman, she got away with straight up murder. And later on down the line, she admitted that she lied, but there was still no, punishment for her. She went on to be able to have children, get married, and live out her life comfortably. You know what I'm saying? She was able to do that. She was able to live out her life comfortably after knowing that she had a young child, Emmett Till, murdered off of a straight up lie. But see, what we're seeing now is a reverse and a change, because when we're seeing prosecutors who have been lying for forever, putting black people in prison, having us locked up off of lies, but now we're seeing it being reversed and being changed, because Kim Potter, she had a smirk on her face on her mugshot. See, that's the arrogance of Esau. That's the arrogance they have. Even after being convicted, she had a damn smirk on her face. She was smiling. That arrogance, it's crazy to me. How you can still smile after knowing you murdered someone, and you can get up there with them fake ass tears and cry and say, I'm sorry, I'm sorry. But your ass over here yelling, taser, taser, but you know damn well you are holding a gun. You said you wasn't even planning on even stopping Daunte Wright. But this was supposed to be some kind of, experience for the rookie cop. So they said, well, let's take this on. So family, it's good to know that you're being experimented on. You have random cops just pulling you over because it's part of, their experience. That's good to know. And it's disheartening, really. That's a little, sick. We understand that it goes on, but Daunte Wright wasn't even supposed to even be pulled over. But we got a rookie cop up in here. So, that'd be great experience for the rookie cop. But as we all know, the rookie cop had it under control. The rookie cop had it all under control. He was speaking to Dante Wright. Dante Wright was speaking correctly with him. He wasn't a threat at all. They had no problems. It was a great dealing. Until Kim decided to walk up and cause a whole bunch of controversy and problems the way they are built and made to do. This is what they do. And blew it all out of proportion, all out of control, which ended in the death of a young father, son, all for nothing. All for nothing. And even push the arrogance further, what we have is Kim Potter's lawyers asking the judge if she can go, be with her family for Christmas. The arrogance, the unmitigated gall, y'all, that you are able to be boldly request that this murderer, who just been convicted of murder, mind you, if she can, while she awaits sentencing, she can be with her family. Now, let's just say for a minute, she wouldn't have been a flight risk, or she wouldn't have tried to, escape, but the lawyers are trying to paint a picture that she is not a problem in society. Like she's not a problem, that's what's mind boggling to me. This woman murdered an innocent young man who was young, 19, 20 years old? Dante Wright was 19 or 20? He hadn't lived, and you murdered him and took his whole life away. But your attorneys are requesting that you are able to spend some time with your family. Now, luckily, we had a judge who said, listen, I don't do that for nobody. She has been convicted of murder, but yet they refuse to call it murder. See, this is the privilege that we continue to see with some of these people. They call it manslaughter, first degree manslaughter, instead of straight out calling it murder. She murdered Dante Wright. She's a murderer. But it's, manslaughter 1. What is that? 10, 15 years, maybe? Hey, sis. Hey, Tiffy. How you doing? Hey, little sis. I need you guys to like, share, and subscribe. Press that thumbs up, thumbs up, thumbs up. But what we have to understand that things are changing. Things are changing. But we have to be willing to go along with the change, family. Because the Most High wants us separated. Like, again, it's okay for us to be friendly with people. It's okay for us to live with people, because that's what we're supposed to do. We're not supposed to be tyrants and, going around attacking people. We are to live and let live. We are not supposed to act like Karens and just go out of our way attacking people and then claim to be the victim after the fact. See, this is what we keep seeing over and over again, family. We keep seeing the people that are enemies who keep attacking us, continuously pretend to be the victim. But what we have are our weapons now, instead of just word of mouth, are our video phones, where people can actually see the realness, because they will lie right in front of your face. Where you had an incident where a mother and a son, and the son was a teenager, but he looked like a whole grown ass man with his big fat ass, but he decided, there was a parking attendant. He was in there, doing his job. He's a black man doing his job. And the mother and son decided to go down to the parking garage to their car, and they saw this black man doing his job, and they decided to harass him and ask him why he's there and what he's there for. And the black man said, listen, you don't question me. And they're asking the man for an ID. Family, you never show them your ID. You never do that, because that is what they used to do to us in slavery. When they would ask us for our papers, family, when they would, our freedom papers, they would ask you, are you free? You know, and if we had freedom papers, they wanted to see them. And they, at any given moment, can just stop you and pull you over and ask you just to see your damn freedom papers. See, we got to stop with all of that. You don't show your damn ID to, you know, a group of people who are just being evil and hateful and spiteful. If they need to call the police, then that's fine. You know, but this white boy who looked like a whole grown ass man decided to attack the black man who was simply doing his job. Now, mind you, the black man is over here recording the whole incident, because that's what you're supposed to do, family. You whip that damn phone out and you record it immediately. That way you have proof that you're doing what you're supposed to do, and they just can't sit up here and lie on you, because that's the first thing they're going to do. And their enemies are going to believe them, even though they know that they're lying. And even on camera, the woman calling the police saying, hey, you know, this man won't show me any proof that he's supposed to be here. They ended up hanging up the phone. And the police said, listen, are you security? You know, then mind your own damn business, lady. But when you look back on that story, the little boy, the big fat boy, got in trouble. You know, he was arrested, and the mother, lost her job. But what I believe is they should be kicked out of that apartment. And the black guy that worked there, he decided to just go ahead and quit. And rightfully so. Because there are times when I could be at, my job, and the parking where, at one of my jobs where I work is crappy. So depending on the time of day, there may be parking or there may not be parking. So sometimes I have to park on the street, Well, this area, where I work is predominantly, white, people, and things of that nature. So sometimes when I'm just simply sitting in my car, you have a Karen who comes out and, they're just looking at you and, trying to intimidate you and make you feel uncomfortable. This is the type of things that our enemies do to us. And we got to stop sugarcoating it and stop trying to make people comfortable and speak the truth. Because I got a Karen over here telling me that she's not the enemy, and she may be a nice person. And that's wonderful if she's a nice person, and it's no offense to you directly, but I'm speaking to my people, and my people need to understand that we are under attack, and we have to stop being brainwashed and stop being bamboozled and stop giving leadway because one of them is nice to us. Again, we are not to attack people. And when people are nice to you, you be nice to them, but just don't be fooled. Don't be bamboozled. It is not your job to love every damn body, because everybody don't love you. We are hated. We are hated out here as so-called African-American people, so-called black people. We are hated. And we have to stop pretending and stop making people so damn comfortable, because you have other groups of people who fall in line with you. Black people are always throwing out that race card. Well, a lot of them can't even say that anymore. They still say it anyway. But the reality is, the truth is right in front of your face. It's right there in front of your face. So you can't deny it. You can't hide it any longer. Because we have always been under attack in our own damn land. As soon as our enemy came in and started raping and robbing and murdering and killing us and stealing our land, we have been under attack. And this is one of the main reasons why we are still under these curses, because we keep doing the things that we're not supposed to be doing. That's the reason why, we get high blood pressure and all these, diabetes and all sickle cell and all these different type of things because we're eating a diet of our enemies. We're not supposed to be eating a lot of the stuff that we eat. It's good. We love it, but when you go to the grocery store, there's nothing in there that's healthy. Nothing. Everything that's in that store is unhealthy, family. When you go to a grocery store, yes, they have an organic section, which is very small. But when you go throughout the whole store, everything is processed. Everything from the shelves, when you have items like soup and things of that nature that's on a shelf and it requires no refrigeration, until you open it, all of those things have preservatives in them. And those things are not natural for your body. And we wonder why we're sick and unhealthy because us being the original beings and being the strongest, our enemies are breaking our bodies down by producing all these horrible things that we're consuming that we're not supposed to be consuming from our water, from our bathing water, all these type of things. We are when I tell you we're under attack, we are under attack, family, from every little basic thing. And we have to take that into consideration and understand that and stop being so closed-minded and be more open, So this is one of the main reasons why we have to stop celebrating Christmas. Again, New Year's Eve is coming up. It's right around the corner. And it's going to be a whole lot of people that are going to be doing a countdown, going to be celebrating, but that's not our holiday, family. You so-called African American people, that is not our holiday to celebrate. That is a man-made holiday and a man-made tradition. And if you go back in history to even how that came about, it was all about orgies and sex and demonic activity, just like just like Christmas. You have devil worshipers who created Christmas, but some kind of way, in order for people to worship it, they intertwine Christianity into it to make you think that it's something good. But when you celebrate Christmas, it's demonic. Those Christmas trees are a symbol of demonic activity and things of that nature. And we have to separate ourselves from all of those things in order for us to be free. And in order for us to be able to retrieve the land and the earth that was promised to us in the first place, family. This land, this is our land. This is our home. And it's high time that we start reclaiming it and stop being, apologetic to people who are just simply doing their jobs. That's right, David. That is their job, to attack us, to murder us, to kill us. That they're only doing their jobs, family. So they're never going to change. They're never going to change. So we have to stop thinking that our enemies are going to change from who they are, who they were made to be. They're never going to change it. Never. So while we over here cutting our Christmas, ham, and things of that nature, destroying our bodies, putting that pork and that swine in our bodies that the Most High tells us we shouldn't be eating in the first place because our laws have not been changed. The Most High ain't changed none of our laws. He tells us what foods we should eat, what we shouldn't be eating, and if we start following that, we can reclaim our health. It'll never be perfect because we're not living in a perfect world because our enemy is still somewhat under rulership. Even though their rulership is being broke down right now, we're still sitting up under it, But part of, the rebellion that we need to be having is separating ourselves and not following along with what they're doing. And we already know that alone will piss them off. That'll make them angry because they want us to continue that slave religion, Christianity. They want us to stay up under that. Follow your slave masters. Listen to what your slave masters tell you to do. This is what they want us to continuously follow. But we got to break away from that. We got to get out of that brainwashing and understand that we are royalty. We are the kings and queens of this earth, family. We are the aborigines. And it's time for us to reclaim who we are and start following some of our feast days, some of our, you know, traditions that we're supposed to be following, because they're holy days. They're not holidays. They are holy days that are our tradition for us. And all these holy days that we're supposed to be following are to praise the Most High, because the Most High loves to be praised. That's what we were made for. That's why he created us, for us to give him honor and to give him praise. We are his creation, and he loves that. He loves when we give him praise. And that's our job, to do that. And we need to start doing it, because he tells you he despises the enemy's feast days. Those heathen and those pagan feast days, he despised those. But the ones that he created for us, he loves them. Yes, we need to worship in God's way only. That's what our duty is. And if you don't know, it's your job. It's your obligation to find out what our holidays are. It's your job to do those things. You need to find out what holidays we should be celebrating. And when the Most High partied, he partied for days at a time, because some of our holy days are for days at a time. You hear me? When the Most High, party, it was a party. And we have to get back into those type of things. That's what we need to do, family. So never mind Christmas. So Christmas is a time that we were sold. We were given away, as presents to our enslavers, our captors. Our women were raped. Our children were raped. Our men were raped, and used to build and create a country that wasn't made for us, although we created it and made it. But it wasn't made for us. And other groups of people just come in and step all over us. They come into our communities, building, businesses and things of that nature. And then what they tell you is that, well, you black people just don't do anything. You don't do anything, but they systematically move you out of the way, even in your own neighborhood. And with all this gentrification that's going on, when COVID popped out in 2020, that stopped a lot of the gentrification that was going on in my hood. Of course, it's picked back up, but it's being slowed back down again, because you have a lot of, schools that were trying to open back up, but a lot of them are closing back down. A lot of parents are angry because they wanted to be able to continuously send their children to school, because we all know that the school is, a babysitter for a lot of these parents who don't want to actually be parents, and this is something that America has created, single parenting. It's so convenient for a parent to just be, to send their children to be indoctrinated all day, and told lies and confusion, because now the mother is free for 8, 9, 10 hours. The father's free for 8, 9, 10, 11 hours, instead of actually teaching your own children and making sure they're being taught who they are, their heritage, their holy days that we're supposed to be following. All these type of things are very important. Our history, who we really are, where we come from, our rich history, and talking about other history and other cultures. And to see where you fit in and who they really are as a people. All of this is important. All of it. We have to think about these type of things. But again, us being ingrained, and saying, listen, we're American, we're this, we're that. You know, well, we call it America now. This is what it's called. It wasn't always called America. You know, this land was not always called America because when our people were already here, we had other names for it. You know, we are the original beings of what we call now America. Of course, they try to separate you and tell you to separate you from your own land. They tell you you came from Africa. It is not to say that some of us probably, didn't come from Africa, but a lot of us were already here on this land. This was our home before our enemies came over and trying to use, that psychological warfare and separating you from your own land so you won't even claim it. So they can separate you and so they can steal the identity through time. This is all a strategic plot and a strategic plan that has been used time and time again. But see, what we're seeing now is the deconstruction of it. We're seeing this deconstruction of it. And this is very important. We have to deconstruct the lies that are constantly being fed to our people. We have to deconstruct it and let our children and let our people know, no, you're surrounded by your enemies. This is the lies that they told, and vision is everything. When you see things on TV, when you see things, you see a group of people that had nothing to do with, the narrative that they're trying to push and portray. When you see cowboys, for instance, we were the true cowboys, family. Us so-called African-American Black people who were the original beings of America. The so-called Indian people, that Christopher Columbus, called Indian people because his ass thought he was in India. So he called us Indians and we adopted that term for a long time, but we are the Indians and we were the cowboys and we were kicking ass and whooping ass, but we have all type of movies. We have all type of TV shows, Bonanza and all these type of shows, that show our enemies that they were the ones that were, the cowboys and they were the ones that were doing all these things. And that's just not true. That was us, family, that were doing these things. See, this is what I'm saying about us being able to deconstruct the lies. Because even when you turn on your television, just seeing it just vision wise, you can be brainwashed, and there are certain countries that don't even accept some of the lies that America, spits out on TV. When Cleopatra came out back in the day with Elizabeth Taylor, some countries banned it. They would not even accept that version of Cleopatra because historically we know that Cleopatra didn't look that way. We know that she didn't look that way. Now some people would say, well, what difference does it make? Why does it matter? Because vision is everything. Seeing it means everything. See, when you do a black doll, white doll test, and you have Black children who say the white doll is prettier, is better, but when they see the black doll, they associate the black doll with negativity, bad, things of that nature. And then when they're asked, well, which doll do you look like? They have to face the reality that all those negative things that they have been taught and that they just spewed out is associated with them. They just said that about themselves. And that's when the reality hits that child that, damn, I look like that negative doll. That's the type of psychological warfare our enemies place on us, family. And this is the reason why we have to deconstruct it. We have to deconstruct that bullshit. This is the reason why it has to be deconstructed. Because there is no way in the world that we should continuously allow that to happen. Where our children's out here thinking that they're ugly, that they're bad because of vision. Because they're seeing something, because this is the narrative that's always being painted to them on television. No, we got to knock that off. When we see, a white Jesus on the cross, hey, Spencer, how you doing, brother? When we see a white Jesus, you know, we automatically think that our enemy is, superior, that they are the ones that we're supposed to look up to. And that's just not true. That's why we have to start reclaiming and telling the truth and saying, no, we were the people in this book. We are the people of the Bible. We are those people, because historians are trying their best to try to make some of our black queens, in Egypt and all these type of things. They are trying their best. Hey, Dana Griffin, they're trying their best to change our way of thinking, and they're trying to make them Caucasian. They're finding up old bones. They're digging up old bones, they found some old bones of some babies, in a rich rural area, and of Egypt, I believe. And this is because they haven't found all the places that a lot of kings were and people that were wealthy were buried. They don't they haven't found it. They don't know. It's impossible to dig up all the rich history that has been there. But historians want to see, where did the white people live? Where were they? Weren't they the ones in control? Weren't they the leaders? Weren't they the ones? No, they just refuse to believe. That's why when you see a lot of those statues with the noses knocked off of them, because the nose is going to tell you exactly who was running the show at that time. A lot of those lips were knocked off because Caucasian people ain't got those type of noses. Caucasian people don't have those type of lips. So you had, demons, cutting off noses and knocking lips and trying to color, a lot of the paintings and statues and things of that nature, different colors. And we have been brainwashed, time and time again, because I remember, a Bible that my father had and he loved very, very much. And it was a big, beautiful Bible that he bought, as a young man. And he kept it, when growing up, he kept it as a centerpiece on the coffee table, because he was so proud of it, and, he loved that Bible. And he would read the Bible to me. My father would always tell me Bible stories. And I treasure those stories. I just, I treasure that. Even to this day, I treasure that very much, but that Bible depicted pictures of European, people, and even as a child, I remember how just psychologically, that messed me up, and when I look at it now, I think back and say, wow, so many generations of us have been bamboozled and lied to just through these pictures. That's why we have to start repainting a narrative. There was an African guy who wasn't an artist. He wasn't an artist at all. And I wish I can show you the picture that he drew. But he was a African guy who was taking a course of some sort, and there was the pictures were all European. So he wanted to do a book and pictures of, that depicted the people that live in his country, and when he drew those pictures, it was just beautiful and it was amazing, because he depicted those pictures the way, the people in his village, in his country looked. And I thought that was just amazing. Just the talent that we have, our melanated people have, it's just amazing that we took the initiative and said, well, no, we need to change this. because again, our children are seeing these things, and it is painting a picture that these people are superior. And this is going on all over the world, because even Africa, I mean, which is a black country, you know what I'm saying? It's a dark country, you know, they're being tricked, you know, with this European superiority and Chinese superiority thing that's going on out there. And it's just amazing to me how you can take a whole black country and rearrange it. But again, they did that to us in so-called America. This place that's called America right now, at one time was all black people in it. So-called black people. My people were already here. Millions upon millions of us. Black. But they were able to come in with Christianity. They were able to kill off our kings and, and our leaders. They were able to do these things and depict, pictures and, and things of that nature of Europeans, and people that look like them. And mentally, we would think that we were inferior. All of this was used. All of it was used to destroy us. And they go from country to country doing that. But as melanated people need to see it for what it is, and start rearranging it and changing it. Because see, what they don't want is unity. They don't want us to have unity. And again, it's not all about, fighting, things of that nature. I'm not opposed to it, but unity alone will fix a lot of the problems that we have as a people. That will fix a whole lot of problems. And we can all ask, well, how do we get the unity going? How do we start with that? My suggestion is, because we know that as a whole, as a group, that's just impossible. It's not going to happen, right away. We already know that, we're going to always have people from groups that have different way of thinking and, feelings and things of that nature. But you can start with your own tribe. You can start with your own group of people. Within your own family, within your own unit, your own group of friends, your own, people. You can start. That's how you do it. And the people that they know other people. So then they can be leaders. You teach them how to be leaders, and then they can spread it on, and then they can create a small group, and so on and so on. And this is what we need to even be doing, even with our children, within our neighborhoods. We know that we can't tackle everyone. We can't just all come together. Like, it's just not going to happen. But we can start with our communities. We can definitely start with our communities. And it just takes a few of us, because if we can spend money on things and, that are insignificant, that will go down in value, after you buy it. If you can get a small group of people to put money together, that's how you build. That's how you create things. Because there's no reason why we shouldn't have our own schools, so that we can teach what we need to teach our people, our true heritage, our true history, our laws, our religion, our holy days. See, all these things we could be doing. We could be building schools to be able to teach these things. This is what we have to do, but we start small. We start adapting these rules. But, it's very difficult, again, because we've been so brainwashed. But again, it's going to take us as a community, and us as fathers, and mothers, to start teaching our little ones the mindset to have, and unity, not separation. Because I can't get over how separated we are as a people. It's just mind-boggling to me how separated we are as a people. It's mind-boggling to me, because when you go back and, and you look at just even in the 60s or the 50s or the 40s, how, black men and black women were married for 50 years, 60 years, You saw these things. You saw how the black woman supported the black man and stood by him and loved him. And you saw how the black man loved that black woman and took care of her. It was a family unit. It was a family. It wasn't all this hatred and trying to, destroy and get over. We keep seeing the whole, all this, I gotta take all the money. I gotta, sue him. I gotta, treat her this way. And I gotta do all these type of things. You only see men as an ATM. You only see a woman as a thought. You don't see her as a mother or a wife material. We have to get out of this type of way of thinking, but we all have a role to play. And we just can't come to the table just the way we are. And that's a lot of, way of the thinking that we have. We think that people are supposed to just accept us the way that we are. And that's not true. You can't go to a job and expect your employer just to accept you the way that you are. There are rules, that you have to follow when you're working in this establishment. There is customer service. We expect for you to talk a certain way, to be a certain way, to treat, to greet our customers a certain kind of way. Our clientele, treat them with, respect, kindness. These are type of things that are expected of you on the job. And you don't go off mouthing at your boss. Well, in a marriage, it kind of works the same way. In relationships, it works the same way. With your wife or your husband, there's respect. The way you talk to your husband, the way you talk to your wife, the way you talk to your children, all these things are important to build family unit, family love and support. All these things are important, but we've lost our way. But it's just finding it back and reclaiming it. We cannot come with this, I'm going to be who I am and you're just going to accept it. And no, that's not how that works. In order for us to rebuild as a community, as a unit, we have to start respecting each other first off, period and point blank. That's what we need to do so we can start rebuilding family structure, start building, and having unity within our culture, within, who we are as a people, but all of these things are going to take time, but we have to start slowly. But at the same time, we gotta, we have to be, pushy about it. We have to, make sure that it happens. This is very important, as we see and witness our enemies go out. We might as well start practicing now, family. Unity. We might as well start practicing it now, because I'm going to tell you right now, when the Most High cracked that sky open and we actually start seeing it for ourselves, you will see how much time you have actually wasted. You're going to see how much time you've actually wasted, that the Most High was being generous with you, being generous with us, with the time that he is allowing us to get ourselves right, to get ourselves together. He's allowing us to do it now. But we're wasting time. We're procrastinating. That's what we're doing. And we got to stop doing it. We got to stop procrastinating. And we've got to get right with him. We got to start following the holiday, his holy days. Stop following these man-made religions. Stop eating the food that we're not supposed to be eating, like pork and, all these different things that we're not supposed to be eating. Catfish and, I'm just telling you. Because let the Most High crack that sky open and he see you eating a pork chop. You're going to be killed immediately. You will be destroyed immediately. See, that's the kind of Most High that we have. See, we've been brainwashed in Christianity that he's all love and forgiveness and things of that nature. He loves his children, the Israelites, whom we are. He loves us. And he's kind enough to give us grace, a grace period. But what do we keep doing? We keep just saying, See, it's kind of like what we were doing, when all of us was in the wilderness and Moses was talking to us and saying, well, look, this is what the Most High told me, family. You got to stop breaking God's laws, statutes, and commandments. And those people in the wilderness didn't believe Moses at all. And they died off and other generations came about. And after a while, they stopped believing in Moses' teaching. Even though they were passing it on, eventually they stopped passing Moses' teachings on. But generation was going by and, they were telling their children, hey, the Most High said we got to do this, we got to do that. But they were mixing in with other nations. What we're doing now, they were doing the same thing. Then all of a sudden, those ships came. What Moses had already prophesied in Deuteronomy. He tells you that if you follow the Most High's laws, statutes, and commandments, you will be the head and not the tail. You will be the leader. But if you keep breaking his laws, statutes, and commandments and not following the holy days and not following, the laws of our ancestors, he will send your enemies to you to destroy you, to take your name, to take who you are as a people away from you, to rape your children, take your children and sell them to other groups of people. That's what he's going to do. That's what he did, because we just continuously failed and followed other nations. Well, we see where it's gotten us, but we're so ingrained and we don't want to change. We just want to just stay. Well, the Most High is fed up, and you're going to either make a choice. He's making it to where you are going to make a choice. Yesterday, family, it was raining and there was a beautiful rainbow that was in the sky. It was beautiful. And we know where that comes from. That's a covenant, from the Most High, because it's been raining. It's been raining, for the last few days. And that rainbow just appeared and it was just beautiful. And we all know that the rainbow is a covenant. It doesn't mean the LGBTQ. It doesn't mean that. It's a covenant, from the Most High, saying that, I know I flooded this place and I killed off everybody, but I won't do that again. I'm not going to flood the earth like I did. And that was a promise to us that he wouldn't do that again. And I just looked at it and I thought it was so beautiful. And just as quickly as it appeared, it dissipated. It disappeared, but it was a beautiful, beautiful thing, and just when you read about the Most High and you talk about him and you learn about him, you just get filled and enlightened, because what you have to understand, it's not a religion. It's a heritage, family. It's a heritage. And when you, as a people, don't know who you are and where you come from, I promise you, if you go to the Bible and you start reading about our ancestors, King David and, Solomon and, all these, Joseph and, all these important people in the Bible, Ezekiel, and, you realize you have a rich heritage, family, and it doesn't involve everybody. See, our enemies took our Bible, our books, and they have them locked up and hidden and refuse to give them back. They have our history and they have removed a lot of the books, and they have done a lot of atrocities to us. They've taken our belongings, our things, but the Most High is revealing it to us. And he's using our enemies to even tell on themselves. And it's amazing and it's beautiful, that we're seeing these type of things, but it's just high time for us to come back to who we are and to stop celebrating these holidays. Again, we had Thanksgiving, our people were out there just go ahead and celebrating it and cooking and eating all these abominable foods and things of that nature, getting sicker and sicker. Getting sicker and sicker. And we wonder why we have all these diseases and problems, because we keep eating the things that we're not supposed to be eating. And I'm telling you, a lot of our diet has a lot to do with why we are sick. If you change your diet, you will heal yourself because the Most High put everything that you need on this earth for the healing. He gave vegetables and fruit and things of that nature, herbs and, you know, nuts and grains and, for the healing of the nations. He gave us fresh water, which our enemies use to, and make us pay for. The Most High put fresh water that comes from the sky for free, y'all. And our enemies charge us for it. If that's not some demonic, devilish shit, I don't know. I don't know what to tell you, family. You know, how we can be charged for something that is free. That's amazing to me. It's mind boggling to me. Like, share, and subscribe. Press that thumbs up, family. Subscribe if you are not subscribed, and share the video if you want to share the video, family. Do that for me. Um, you know, we need to just, stay focused. I haven't celebrated Christmas it's been a lot of years, and it's kind of disheartening to me because, we still have I still have family members who, no matter how much I tell them, I don't celebrate Christmas. I don't celebrate that. They wish me a happy Merry Christmas, and they, and I don't like to be mean and tell them, well, I keep telling you, I don't celebrate these man-made holidays, and you shouldn't either. It's disheartening to me, that, a lot of my family members, again, have been so ingrained and brainwashed that, they continue to celebrate these man-made traditions, but it's been a lot of years, since I've, had a Christmas tree up or, put lights out or celebrated Christmas. I can't remember. It's been since the early 2000s since the last time I actually celebrated Christmas with anyone. To me, this is just another day. This is just another day for me. I can work on it this day. It just so happens that I was, off on these days, Christmas Eve and Christmas. I just happen to be off, and I'm going to enjoy my days off. I appreciate them. I enjoy my days off. But no, it's not about, celebrating because, given that energy to those demonic forces, no, we have to understand that's what we're doing when we celebrate these things, and our enemies, it only just prolongs their rulership when we continue to be brainwashed like that. But if we stop following this, their rulership we'll see the destruction of it, as we need to, as we should. We need to continuously see the destruction of it, because all of this needs to be shut down, family. All of it needs to be shut down, and when you can do your part by simply just not engaging, in these horrible holidays. Because again, you were the gift at one point in time, family. You so-called African Americans were the gift that was given. And we can't celebrate that, because our enemies, with their arrogance, still think that they can demand and, talk to us any kind of way. And that they can demand, our freedom papers, show me an ID type of thing. They continuously do this. It's in their nature. They're never going to change it. They're never going to change it. So we need to stop expecting it. But we can change ourselves by simply not engaging in these man-made holidays that are a detriment to us as a people. We can definitely change it. I love you, family. Thank you for coming in and joining me. I really appreciate it. Today, just enjoy the rain. Enjoy that the Most High is cleaning the sky. He's cleaning the air out. He's replenishing our water source. That's a beautiful thing. Those type of things we need to dwell on. Those are the type of things that we need to be focused on right now. That he's cleaning the air, especially with us, polluting it at, every second of every day, with just simply driving our cars and things of that nature, and doing every other manner of pollution, but focusing on the gifts that the Most High give us, that's a blessing within itself. We need to focus on that and get back in tune with the Most High, with nature, the way that our ancestors were. We need to get back in tune with those type of things and stop being distracted. We have to stop being distracted and come back to who we are. Like the movie The Lion King, when it tells you, come back to who you are. You are a king. You come from royalty. We need to come back to who we are, family. And never forget it. Never forget who we are. We are royalty. Royalty. I love you. Like, share, and subscribe. Press that thumbs up. Leave a comment in the comment section, family. And this video was not meant to offend. This video was definitely not meant to offend anyone. But it's just high time that, we speak the truth. And we have to stop being worried about offending people and tell the truth. And although our enemies want to change the narrative and don't want us to speak on the truth, and they try their best to separate us so we can't speak the truth. We can't allow that to happen. We have to get together. We got to talk. We got to, speak the truth and stop thinking of, that we're making everybody uncomfortable. Who cares about that? Knowledge is power. And it's high time we know who we are and come back to who we are and come back to the rulership and the heritage, the rich heritage that we have, family, that we have. So stop celebrating these demonic holidays. Christmas isn't for you, family. It was never made for you. It wasn't made for you. And remember, you were the gift at one particular time. When our enemies were coming in and they were colonizing us and they were, coming to our countries and taking over and murdering and killing us, they were taking our little children who were of royalty. And they were enslaving our little children. So a lot of times when you see those pictures and you see a little black little boy or a little black little girl and a black little child, in the picture of a Caucasian family of royalty, just know that black child wasn't from, some trash or no, that was a royal child at one time. That was a royal child. And that family that has them conquered them and took their child and enslaved them. Even though a lot of those children, those black children have nice clothes on, they're clean, things of that nature, but they were conquered. That's what your enemy has done to you, family. And they show it to you in pictures and things of that nature. But we have to come back to who we really are, family. Come back to who we really are. And I'm never going to stop being an advocate for our people. I'm going to always promote us healing. I'm always going to promote us being having unity, being together. I'm always going to promote that. Always. This is what this channel is about. This is what my channel was about. It's slowly but surely growing. And I appreciate all my subscribers, the ones who have, are subscribed to me. Thank you. I love you. And I appreciate your subscriptions. It means everything to me. Shalom, brother. Shalom, David. Appreciate you. Love you, Tiffany J. Love you very much. And I'm going to go ahead and get up out of here, family. And I want you all to enjoy the rest of your day. Enjoy the rest of your day. If you are spending time with family, enjoy that, and just enjoy, and just sit back and relax and watch your enemies, fall at the wayside. Just sit back and watch it. That's what we need to be doing and separating ourselves. So let's continue to do that. So shalom, everyone. Enjoy the rest of your day, family. And I'm going to see you all on the next video. Shalom.